Despite facing a felony count, 34-count felony indictment, and multiple criminal investigations, President Trump's poll numbers among Republicans are still unmatched. That's especially true among Republicans in South Carolina, which we told you weeks ago would be the state to watch. We are seeing a major change in American presidential politics over the next few months. Just watch, and you're going to see a newfound fascination and focus on South Carolina. And the pollsters certainly have. Polling from Winthrop University shows the former president at 41% among South Carolina Republicans. That's almost more than Ron DeSantis, Florida governor, Nikki Haley, the former South Carolina governor, and Tim Scott, the current South Carolina senator, combined. Republican challengers are taking note. See, for example, this new ad from Ron DeSantis' team.
Donald Trump is being attacked by a Democrat prosecutor in New York. So why is he spending millions attacking the Republican governor of Florida? Trump should fight Democrats, not lie about Governor DeSantis.
May Mailman is here. She served in the White House counsel's office under President Trump. May, it's always good to see you. I almost feel like we're going back to 2015 and 2016 when there was a new flavor of the week. Herman Cain at one point, Ted Cruz at another point, that all were going to take down Donald Trump, and yet he led pillar to post.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people in 2016 had a sort of draft behind Trump's strategy where they were going to kind of be okay with Trump, not hit him, and then, at the last minute, just change their strategy, and that didn't work. So I think you're seeing from DeSantis' team a very different approach, although this isn't DeSantis' team, this is an unaffiliated PAC that supports DeSantis, where they are just attacking him straight up. So he ran another ad, the DeSantis supporting PAC, that showed how left Trump was on gun rights when he was president. And I think that that'll be interesting to see if that works, because at the end of the day, Trump grew up in Queens and has Queens-type values. DeSantis, his parents are from Ohio and Pennsylvania. His wife's from Ohio. Like, he kind of gets MAGA movement, even if he's not the MAGA spokesperson right now.
Yeah, well, let's be honest, when we talk about the super PAC, right, this one's run by Jeff Rowe, who was Ted Cruz's consultant, was Glenn Youngkin's consultant, understands conservative politics. There's supposed to be the big Chinese wall between the super PAC and the campaign that somehow has a lot of leaks between the walls. But we know how, both of us know how Washington works in that sense. I think, though, about the anti-DeSantis headlines that have been coming out here. Top Republican donor sours on Florida's governor's stance on social issues. DeSantis down in the polls, taking flack from Donald Trump, looks to rebound. DeSantis faces 2024 dilemma over his conservative brand. DeSantis allies are sweating his presidential campaign rollout. Ron DeSantis' Ukraine stance angers GOP hawks. That's from the New York Times. Is DeSantis really dropping like a rock? Politico. Okay, so there's all of these headlines. And to your point, May, Ron DeSantis refuses really, in any formal way, to engage. Here is him talking about the Disney announcement today, where he sort of is trying to once again go after Disney when asked about Donald Trump. Take a listen.
I mean, this is a big announcement. I mean, like, honestly, you're asking me about political process. I mean, why don't we focus on this issue at hand?
Well, Trump,
can you? I don't get how you run a campaign this way.
DeSantis can't come out against Trump directly because DeSantis' supporters are also Trump supporters. So it's the same kind of in reverse. Trump, when he hits DeSantis directly, he doesn't get loud applause, except for from his most ardent supporters. Cynically, I will say that there are a lot of anti-DeSantis headlines in the mainstream media because the polling shows that DeSantis beats Biden head-to-head and Trump in most polls doesn't. And so the mainstream media has an interest in kind of having Trump
that's a fair point.
Come through the Republican
That's
primary.
a fair point. I'm wondering how much can we think of as America's changing? NewsNation, fastest growing cable network in the country. We intentionally do not give a pass to either side as our competition does. And in the polling supports that's what Americans say they want. Right now, a vast majority of Americans, plurality, 49%, say they are independents. And over time, It used to be that more people said they were either Republican or Democrat than independent. Now, way more than either, say, Democrat or Republican identify is independent. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.